Okay, we are live with our 78th installment of Nansen Office Hours. I've got Darren and Daniel with me today. It should be a good one where we're going to go through activity of smart money as well as look at some other kind of in-trend topics and some tokens, especially some unlocks. We've spotted quite a few, so we're going to go through them. So yeah, GM, thank you for joining us. Drop your GMs in the chat. I'll take a look at that in a second. And before we start, if you're new to Office Hours, every Wednesday we do a Nansen and Chill session, look at new features, answer any questions you've got, so drop them, and hopefully give some alpha leaks. Strategy might be more different now because of the bear market, so kind of see what people are up to, the bigger players are up to in terms of accumulation, securing their positions, things like this. So yeah, make sure that you subscribe. Turn notifications on so you don't miss out on any alpha. Also, if you'd like to try Nansen, you can use the link below to sign up to Nansen Lite for free. And I think before we start, I just want to mention our new release, Nansen Connect. So it's a web-free messaging tool, currently in beta, but we have a lot of amazing features still going on, and I'll give you some details on that. So if you own any of these penguins, any of these NFTs, including penguins, so we've got Pudgy Penguins, Sneaky Vampires, Kaiju Kings, Cyber Kongs, Hash Masks, Parallel, Weirdo Ghost Gang, Moonbirds, Clonex, Bored Apes, Azukis, and Doodles. If you own any of them, you can join Nansen Connect and start chatting in your own dedicated channels. And then if you're a Nansen subscriber, or if you own one of those NFTs, you can also enter into these label gated channels that we have as well, which are pretty amazing. So if you're a smart money investor on our platform, you can join the smart money group, which then becomes like an alpha group. If you are a NFT blue chip holder, you can also join that group as well. So hopefully, yeah, it becomes more like an alpha channel that's gated to only specific people. For the beta launch, we only have integration with MetaMask at the moment as a hot wallet, but we will be developing it further, and we want to make it as accessible as possible to the broader community. So that includes adding more NFT collections on that as well. I'm sure we will be doing that very soon. If you want your NFT collection to be added, you can contact us. I stupidly don't have the email here, but I think you can just DM the main account, and yeah, I will read that, or one of the other people on the social team will get back to you on that. So yes, I've spoken lots there. If we start off then with Darren, I think he's going to be going through kind of how we first saw that Metastreet raise. He did a thread on, and then how you can like use that process to look at other tokens as well, similar situations. So yeah, 1 second, Darren. Oh yeah, your screen is already on. So if you want to unmute, you're ready to go.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Alex. Yeah, so I think today, I actually wrote a thread on this, but I think it might be nice to run it through the whole process. And then also let's, take some time together to see if we can find a raise on chain like right now. So first off, like maybe I'll give a bit of context. What we're looking for actually is we want to start at the USDC token god mode. The idea is that if you think about it, USDC is one of the most important stable coins, right? Like as of right now, USDC, USDT, etc. So most people do things in stablecoins. They do OTC trades in stablecoins, they fundraise in stablecoins, everything they do in stablecoins. And actually, by looking at this particular dashboard, you can spot a lot of interesting things. And one of them, could be fundraisers, and another thing could be OTC trades, etc. So for now, let's walk through how the process might look like. So starting off from USDC token god mode, what I typically do is I either look at top balances, I look at recent balance changes. So let me just clear this filter. And right here, right, what we have is basically different addresses and how much USDC they've received in the past 7 days. And specifically, if you think about it, if you take a step back, right, you think about what you're looking for. So if you're looking for fundraisers, we're looking for wallets with quite a bit of change in USDC, but definitely not like 100 million or even like 50 million. So maybe you're thinking of some sort of limits, let's say 1 to 10 million. So what I'll do is you go to filter, and then you change it needs to be less than 10 million and more than 1 million. Okay, and now we drill down to about 500 addresses. So it's still quite a lot, right? And the next thing we want to think of is, what would a project or protocol, when they receive their USDC, their fundraise, where would they normally collect it? And if you think about it, a large part, or rather a lot of protocols actually use ENSs to collect it. It's sort of like their domain name, right? So we filter for .eth. And tada, we have a number of interesting addresses receiving USDC. So obviously you see Metastreet here. So maybe let's dive a bit deeper, right? So I would open wallet profiler for token as well as top depositors. And now I'm going to cover like how you want to look at the on-chain transactions and how you can sort of extrapolate a reason for why certain transfers are happening. So when we look at wallet profiler for token, you look at all the USDC inflows. And normally what I like to do is to sort by time. And maybe I just go to the first page if it's not too much, and then I see a bunch of potentially angels. I spot one fund, but not too many, and they seem to be sending in like very nice round numbers. And this is also another signal for me, because if you did any sort of privacy investment, be it as an angel, as a syndicate, or as a fund, you would know that 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000, 500,000, these are numbers, right, that are very familiar with angels, because that's typically the check sizes that people will write. Well, I think this is the founder of Genie, by the way. Yeah, so it seems like he did the seed for Metastreet. But anyway, so back to this, right? So I see, okay, so in October 19, they look like they did a raise. So normally what I'll do is I'll verify it online, Metastreet seed raise. And this is in February. Looks like 2021, I think. Oh, it's 2022. So it's early last year, and the dates sort of check out, right? Because if they announced this raise in February, they likely completed it in like December or November of 2021. And then you want to check, is it true for the, based on this? And then maybe just click. So, they started raising like in October 14, and, they send it all, they send most of the money to another Metastreet address, and then they continue to receive until, if you see, right, till like December. So it does feel like that they did this seed here. And the next thing I have to look at is, recently have they been receiving more USDC? And if you go to the first page, you see actually that's a yes, from Binance, from Ledger Prime, from a Smart LP, from an ETH Millionaire, as well as from Coinbase. So all this sort of, how do I put it? Like, this pattern is very similar to the first few pages, right? So it's very clear that they did another raise recently. And they actually did it, I think they started doing it in, let's say, middle of May. And I'm going to guess that this is probably a Series A. And looking at the numbers, right, just as a rough gauge, there's 2, 1, 2. I would say it's probably and then here they raised 14 million, but it's 3 million in funding and 11 million in protocol initial liquidity. So I'm going to guess that based on this, it's probably about maybe 10. Maybe like, that is the Series A, maybe 10. But I can't be sure. How is this information helpful to us? So if you think about it, it depends, right? If they have a token, the Series A will likely pump the price. So you might want to trade on this information. If they don't have a token, then you want to think, are they going to have a token? I think one signal I like to use, right, to determine if a project might have a token moving forward, is to look at the investors. I know that, or at least I believe that some investors have a token-only mandate. Some investors don't really like to do equity, stuff like that. So I think using all these different signals, right, you can sort of guess and make use of this on-chain information. Just going to pause it, if Daniel or Alex, you're going to jump in a little bit. Or...
Yeah, well, someone actually asked, they said that they see Amber as one of the lists, as one of the people on the list, sorry. They said, is that LLST's personal wallet? To be honest, I don't know who that is.
I think there's one of our friends who was disturbing us, but so we can.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Journey says, is there a way to track new raises automatically if they use the same wallet? I guess you could just add these people to your watch list, see what they get up to, because it's often the same people, kind of over and over again. Yeah, do you want to add something to that, Darren?
I think two things, right? One is if you want to track whether the protocol is raising again, and in that case, what I would do is I would set a smart alert for this address
Mhm.
because this is Metastreet's where they're collecting their funds. On the flip side, if you want to track what the other funds are investing in, then it might be worth checking out some of this. Whoops, something happened. Some of these investors, but yeah, I want to leave that as an exercise to the reader, so I don't want to explore too much of that right now. Yeah.
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 One like tiny detail as well. Instead of like going through all the pages, you can just filter. Yeah, with that smart money emoji. I know we say it like every week. You probably like shut up. But yeah, it is really helpful because then you don't have to go through
Yeah.
like all the exchanges and stuff.
Yeah. And I think like one last thing I want to point out that is funny to me personally is that I always see these test transactions,
Mhm.
and then sometimes I think like if I'm the guy that's supposed to send like 1 or 2 million, I wonder if like one test transaction would be enough for me, because if you just need to screw up once and then you probably need to cover quite a lot of money. So
Yeah.
when I see this, like I always like smile to myself. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's such a nerdy thing to say. Yeah.
Did you see my tweet actually just by coincidence on Justin's Son because it's on that topic? Like there you
Oh,
just say like I would do two test transactions if I was sending like $1 million, and then I look at Justin's Son and he sends like $200 million with no test
with
transaction.
no test transaction.
Yeah, sorry, that's off topic.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
worries. Yeah, so I think let's give it a shot, right? So I'm going to close everything. So the Metastreet was more of an example, but I think let's see now if we can find something interesting here. And immediately, like a signal that jumps out to me is this smart contract named Mightyverse.eth. I want to take a look. By the way, if you guys know who is this, it's a pretty prominent person. But anyway, I'm looking at Mightyverse. So I typically like to open wallet profiler for token as well as top depositors. The main reason for this is that being able to see the flow of transfers over time can be useful, but at the same time, being able to see an aggregated view of all the transactions in is useful as well. So both have their like pros and cons. So I typically like try to open both tabs. The main problem occurs is when I have too many tabs open and I end up like forgetting where I am. So I think that's like a problem that if you spend a lot of time on chain, you spend a lot of time on Nansen, Etherscan, etc., you might probably face that. Yeah, so back to this Mightyverse, right? So I'm going to stop my time, and I see Simon Davis sending $24, and then I see like an ETH millionaire, and then this is obviously the ETH millionaire test transaction, and I see 300K, and like this 10,000, 20,000, most likely these are angels, and I'm going to guess that Mightyverse is a protocol, so I'm going to try Googling Mightyverse crypto. And I don't really see anything, but let's try seed raise. Oh, I'm missing a Y. Yeah, so I see this link, 3.2 million, Mighty Jacks TechCrunch. And it looks that it could be like what we're looking at, right? But the main thing, that is interesting to me is that this was actually published in 2020, while for this race, right, it's happening over the past few days. So part A could be that something, they announced it 2 years ago and decided to collect money now, or there could have been some sort of like secondary raise or whatever. So I think the last thing I'll check is, I'll look at the address, and then I'll see, okay, so is there any clues that I could find about this Mightyverse.eth? Right, so I look at the labels, Mightyverse, nothing very interesting, Mighty Action Heroes. Then I go over to counterparties, and I look for TX in. So yeah, I see Mighty Bear Games. I'm going to try Googling it. And I see someone like a name, right? Simon Davis. And he seems to have sent like ETH to this address, maybe for gas. So I'm going to check him out as well. I see him on Twitter, Mighty Games, and I see Mighty Games, Bear Games on Twitter as well. So this 2017, based in Singapore, some sort of Web3/2 gaming studio. And Simon Davis, okay, is a CEO at Mighty Bear Games. So what I suspect actually is that this is different from the TechCrunch article we saw, And what is likely is that Mighty Bear Games / Mightyverse might be actually doing another race. But I can't be 100% sure. But what happens now, right, is that then you want to dig deeper. You want to check out this website. You want to check out this website. You want to see, okay, is it possible that they're going to have some sort of retro airdrop? Are they going to reward like community members, etc.? So I think this is like the process that you want to apply to a lot of different stuff. Yeah. And I think sorry, yeah.
No, go ahead. Were you going to say something?
Yeah.
Or was that...
Okay. I mean, one last thing I wanted to do was to show one last example, because I think people might say, hey, Darren, like, what if the protocol doesn't use a ENS, right? Or what if they don't adopt themselves? They just put like they just use Gnosis say proxy, but they don't, obviously they don't try to book an ENS and tell everyone who they are. So I think that's something that you can spend time looking at as well. So normally what I do is I'll go to Gnosis says, and even though these are not labeled, it is worth looking at each and every one of them. So maybe I'll do something like the first tree, and I'll look at, let's say, top depositors. First tree. So bear in mind, right, that you need some initial filters. If not, you have too many addresses to look through. So what I did was a 1 to 10 million filter, so that I'm only looking at people that are doing their seed or maybe Series A and not too much money yet. So I'm looking at this tree, and immediately, I mean, the first step, I see something interesting, right? So I spot Spartan Group, and I spot like withdrawals from a bunch of exchanges, Coinbase, etc. And so then something interesting when you see like a 1.5 million from this Coinbase and 260K from another Coinbase. And this might be a good time to say, let's look at, so it's the first one, right? Let's look at wallet profiler for token. And then, what I want to verify now is that could this be another protocol doing a race? So it looks a bit likely. I see an ETH millionaire. I see some empty wallets. Then I'm going to go to wallet profiler for token, and I'm going to sort by time to see if there's anything interesting. And the last thing I'll do is I will look at this wallet profiler. But meanwhile, I'm looking at the wallet profiler for token. So I see like, this could be an angel, can't be sure, but maybe, right? So it sparked my interest. And then I'm going to go backwards, and I see a test transaction from Genesis Trading. I see Spartan. Yeah, so the numbers look very familiar, right? Remember, like I mentioned, 10,000, 300K, etc., 300K. So another 10K, 10K. So most likely this is a raise. And then the question is like, what protocol is raising? So we open the wallet profiler. Is there any? There's no labels, nothing. But I see the deployer is Wayne. Sorry, Wayne, if I'm busting the bubble. But so I see Wayne. Then I see, okay, Charles Wayne. So let's Google him. I see Bullet Labs. I see Charles Wayne. Let's try checking him out. And I see Charles Wayne on Twitter. And he seems to be building a project called Bullet Labs. So at this point in time, right, I'm pretty sure that most likely this protocol is this protocol, right? Sorry, is this Gnosis safe? So once again, we have to establish that they seem to have done a 10 million raise. It could be a seed, could be a Series A. I think right now I've probably taken up quite a bit of time, but I won't really dive further into the address. But I just wanted to show you guys how straightforward it is, right? You just spend like 30 minutes on this dashboard. You can find out a lot of fundraisers. I think the larger picture is not so much finding fundraisers, but what else can you do with this? So we have adopted like a mental model, right? To say that, okay, we look at USDC flows, we go to top depositors, we go to wallet profiler for token, then we find interesting patterns. So what if we, we expand this mental model, we expand like this way of thinking on chain, right? We think, how do you spot OTC trades? How do you spot like, a trade between a fund and a protocol? So, then you can think about what filters you want to play with. So maybe I'll do something like, okay, maybe you look at deployer, maybe you look at treasury. Yeah, so as you can tell, right, there's actually a lot of potential. I think the variables are like the filters and then what you're looking for, but as long as you can explore, right, I think there is a lot of interesting information to find in this one dashboard alone. Yeah, I feel like I'm nerding out so much, so I'm going to hand it over to Alex for a bit. Yeah.
No, that's really, really interesting. Daniel, do you want to say something there?
Yeah, I mean, I just went to search and find out, actually, you're right, Mighty Bears actually they were raising in February and March, and managed to spot it. So I guess probably they just started collecting the money and closing their rounds right now. So I think that's why you just managed to spot it on chain right now.
Nice.
Okay, yeah. So gonna pass over to me. I'm actually gonna share my screen for once. 1 second. Okay, let me have a look. So I thought we'd go through kind of, because the episode is smart money focused. That's kind of what I look at every day for kind of the intern content. So maybe people would be interested in kind of what I look at, how I find these things. So yeah, as you'd probably expect, the tab that I look at is this smart money one on the left. And then I kind of go through each 3 of these. So if we start with the DEX trades, we can kind of, so every morning or whatever, I try to have a look first. I'd like order them by time. So I think this is updated, yeah. So this is in time order, kind of the top transactions on DEXs by smart money wallets. So you kind of need to comb through quite a bit. So initially, like I said, I start with time because you might see like really early moves, and then you might be able to capitalize on that in terms of like yesterday I saw quite a lot of people buying SHIB, I think it was, and then I saw Alex's tweet actually that it was like up 40% or something. I of course didn't buy that coin, so I missed out on that. But yeah, so that's why you kind of start with time, see if you can catch things early. And obviously I do that as well because I'm like trying to look for like good tweets. So I need to get ones before everyone else does. So yeah, if you go through, I think one important note to make as well is like I almost wrote something about Alameda because they were buying a lot of Lido token, as you can see here actually. But the thing is with Alameda, and I know everyone wants to see like what is Alameda buying? I want to copy trade them or whatever. But they are very like difficult to kind of understand what they're doing, but also they might buy something and then I look like an hour later and they've sold it. So they're like really just trading all the time. So you can't read too much into what Alameda buys because they're always on the list, always buying various different things. But yeah, they do have wallets which are like long holds, but the ones where it's like elite DEX trader, yeah, don't read into it as if they're going to buy it and hold it because you'll probably get dumped on by Alameda. Yeah, so don't probably do that. Yeah, so I keep going through, see if anything stands out in terms of time order. We were going to talk about this one, but I don't know if we'll get around to it. Maybe later. So this one is quite interesting because it's Sifu, who got revealed a few months ago. He has been doing a lot of transactions today, so this is one that kind of stands out as interesting. Obviously, he got like shunned or whatever, if that's the word, but he still has a lot of money. It's still labeled as smart money. So he's quite an interesting wallet actually to follow. If we can see an example. I don't know if it was on Dex Trades or not, but he actually confusingly was, here. So there's a token called Sifu. I don't know if this is alpha, definitely not, more just kind of funny. But he actually actively trades this, it looks like. I couldn't even see if it has any value, but yeah, so here you can see $200 for 5 Sifu, which is kind of funny. I don't know what he's doing there. But yeah, as you can see, keep going through. I'm kind of looking for more people that might be interesting. Tetranode, who also hopefully we might look at later. I was saying to Darren and Daniel, Tetranode has a very like interesting wallet because obviously he's gone off Twitter now, known as like notoriously rich. But if you try and like take a look at his wallet, we might do later. He does a lot of like bridging, a lot of use of other chains for stable coins and stuff. So obviously is a bit conscious, it looks like, of people watching and trying to understand what he does, because it's very, not difficult, but very complex to kind of understand what he's up to. So yeah, keep going through. this is what I would do basically. See if there's anything interesting. Apollo Capital is quite interesting. They've sold whatever this token is into your. I think I've seen that popping up actually. Might be another unlock. So if you like look each day, you begin to see patterns of tokens that initially seem weird and then probably look like they've got some pattern going on in terms of maybe like an unlock. So yeah, that's what I would do for time. I find this one really interesting and find a lot of kind of gems on here, because what people can do as well is the initial thing is what I'm going to do now is like to increase the taker amount and filter by that, because then you're seeing the biggest transactions. But often these smart money wallets, they transact in smaller batches. So you might miss out on actually a lot of the alpha, because if you go by the largest amounts, it's interesting, of course, like here, $50,000 by Tetranode is interesting and something to explore, but you can kind of miss out on. So let's say he did $51,000 trades instead of 150,000. You can miss it if you just filter by the amount. Yes, this is a good example here of them like selling Link for wrapped ETH, which you might be like, oh no. But then if you check back 1 hour later, they might be buying Link. So Alameda, not much to kind of take from in terms of the DEX trades. And then, yeah, this one, also very interesting. Token transfers. So if we can find a good example. You kind of go through the same thing. Now we're filtered by time. So this is like an NFT mint. You can ignore that. Or you can look on NFT Paradise, obviously, if you want to read more. Here is a good example. So 11 minutes ago, Oapital, who I always am watching, did like 10 minutes ago, almost $1 million on 1 inch swap from whatever USDC to SUSD, or it could be the other way around. Can't tell yet. You need to look into it. Oapital, if anyone is interested, does tons of just stablecoin arbitrage like all the time. So if you're wealthy enough to be doing that, you could also maybe learn from what they do, because they seem like they make a lot of money from doing that, especially with the DPEGs. Yeah, so we keep going through. Max Stealth, if you're noticing, seems to be popping up a lot. I don't know what he's doing. But yeah, that's one that you could then look at and be like, why is Max Stealth, whoever that is, popping up a lot? I feel like maybe I should know who that is, but I don't. Yeah, what else have we got? So basically, I just go through, see if anything stands out. If it doesn't by time, then again, you can just go and filter by value. So here we go. 3 hours ago. This again, you can't read too much into because it's Wintermute. They do a lot of market making, but a lot of SHIB. But I'm not sure how much SHIB is worth. So that could be 10 billion SHIB for like $10. I'm not entirely sure. I don't really look at that coin. What else have we got here? More Oapital stablecoin kind of movements. This person depositing $1 million into FTX. Hopefully they're buying stuff. Yes. Jump trading, always interesting. Yeah, so this is kind of what you have to do. You just go through, explore, see what people are doing. Defiance added that much Lido. I'm not sure how much Lido is worth now. $6. I might have made that up, but it could be a lot of money. And then if we go on to transactions.
Yeah, Alex, actually you can show them the multi-select tool that they just released.
Oh, yes. Okay. How do I do that? I actually don't know.
You go up, right, on the top left function.
Oh, here.
Yeah, so basically you can filter based on what kind of smart money you want to look at, because now it's just including every trade, so it might be a bit messy in a sense, but if you want to look at, just focus on DeFi, you want to look at maybe people who are first movers or airdrop pros, then you can actually see what their transactions, what they're doing. So, can focus on, maybe you want to look at airdrops, or want to look at DeFi, for example. Yeah.
Yes, if we had some, have a look. Got some dead air here while we just wait for it to load. Okay, nice entertainment for everyone. This one, hopefully this should.
Yeah.
Here we go. Is this work for this one? Airdrop Pro, private sale investor. Yeah, so these people, I'm guessing, are like also airdrop pros, are they? So like Skynet, they're probably private sale investor as well. Yeah, this one, this is a good filter to add then. By the way, Darren, if you want to jump in and like explain what any of the labels are, do you want to do that now? Actually, maybe what these two are.
I think I'll just touch on airdrop pro and private investor.
Yeah.
And maybe a bit on how to use them. So airdrop pro, as the name implies, is basically someone that is at least on chain, right, and on paper, like, is good at getting airdrops. So the idea is that we look at a lot of airdrops. We filter out for the ones that are crap. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't be saying which one I think isn't a good airdrop, but I know we filter out some airdrops that are crap. And then we look at all the remaining good airdrops. We think, okay, so obviously we can't take the all-time high, right? Let's take the 30 days. Or I mean, I wouldn't say the exact numbers. Could be 30, could be 90 days average price, and then from there we'll value the airdrop that the address received, and then we have a function of the variables like how much USD value did that address receive, how many different airdrops, then we may or may not rank airdrops. So maybe if you got like a uni airdrop versus the hop airdrop, there's different weightage. We may or may not do that, but I think that's sort of the idea behind airdrop pro. I would say how to use it takes a bit of work, but it might be interesting. The first step, of course, would be to gather a list of your own personal airdrop pro addresses, just for yourself, and then set smart alerts on them to understand what they're doing. And the second thing that'd be important, right, would be on this on the dashboard that Alex is on right now. And maybe once you filter by airdrop pro, and then just skim through and see if there's any interesting contracts that pop up. For example, maybe like Euler or stETH network, I mean, a bunch of stuff, right? So you have to put in the work, but I think because gas is so cheap now, it's not going to cost a lot for you to try all the different protocols. So I think that's how I would like want to use airdrop pros. Private, yes, just going to pause it, if you guys want to jump in. Or
no, that sounds good. I think actually this is really helpful, especially for this like transfer one. So because we've now filtered by airdrop pro, private sale investor, we can see now that we're getting like more unusual tokens going on. So here we have a private sale investor depositing into gate.io. So probably dumping whatever this token is. It's probably an unlock as well, or they're like just got round to dumping it. And yeah, so now we have like much more unusual kind of tokens happening. Here we can see this token goes to Skynet then go to KuCoin again, probably to sell. Same thing here, Sushi Swap. Oh no, JPEG is a known token. Ignore that.
So going to jump in, right? So I think what's interesting actually would also be the GRT token. Yeah. Like immediately I see here, right? There's two smart addresses that received GRT. So what I would do actually, I would try looking at wallet profiler for token for the Disperse app to see actually if there was some sort of release or unlock happening. So I think that's something that the watcher, or if you're watching this now, you could explore. But I mean, we probably won't have time to cover that.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that's really interesting. I haven't used that filter, so I think that's really helpful. Yeah, we probably don't have time for that, but that is something you could do. Okay, let me go on to transactions like I was. So yeah, the same thing. Go through in time order, see whatever's interesting. Let's see if we can spot something. A lot of Wintermute stuff going on. This is all in ETH as well. So again, Max Stealth doing something weird. 25 ETH to OpenSea is probably a NFT.
Actually, I don't see is your screen moving?
Oh, do you not? Darren, do you see my screen moving?
Are you moving anything now? Or
Oh, wait, am I moving it now?
yeah, I
Yeah,
see.
now
it.
you're
Sorry, I opened another tab. Okay, let me go back to it. How do I share another tab? I'm not sure. We should know this. Yeah. Okay, hang on a second. Then. If we just take this out. Do I have to put all in again? Yeah, here we go. Okay, sorry everybody. Very boring. Interlude.
While we are
Here we go. Well, I've got it.
nice.
Okay, so like I was saying, a lot of Wintermute transactions, can ignore them. You can see if there's anything interesting coming up. Yeah, jump trading again, depositing some ETH to FTX, but luckily it doesn't look like too much. But I think I do know they did quite a lot. So if we filter by value, go to the first page. Yes, here, which might make people panic, but they could just be moving it. Let's hope that's true or whatever. 7,500, but actually that doesn't turn out to be too much money at this point. 7.5 million, right? Just over, which sounds like a lot, but it's not much for jump. Yeah, so sometimes you see like really standout transactions though, which are like 30,000 ETH, and then yeah, maybe that's more like, okay, what's going on? Often I see jump trading like up on the top leaderboard like 5 or 6 times, and again, that's like more interesting. This person with a cat ENS, quite a lot of ETH onto OpenSea, probably buying a Bored Ape or something like that. Yeah. So it basically just takes a lot of going through this smart money section, seeing what's interesting. Again, contract interactions, Parify, who again are very interesting. If anyone's got a Nansen sub, Parify have been doing quite a lot of stuff today. A lot of kind of selling off some unlocks as well. Might get round to, but might be too busy for this episode. Yeah, a lot of jump trading stuff going on. And you just need to kind of check each day. Sometimes, like yesterday, there wasn't much going on. So it's not much kind of things of interest. But yeah, these are the main things I look at for smart money. I could probably go on and on at like what else I look at, because it's quite a bit. Like I also look at ETH tracker, see the largest transactions of ETH today. Stablecoin master, you can look at stables going on to exchanges, and then yeah, token god mode, I go on to like USDC or USDT, see who's moving the largest amounts in that day. Yeah, so I don't want to go on and on. You've probably had enough. If I pass on to Daniel, I think you're going to add some more things on token holdings.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Still loading. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, loading.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah, so I guess just as a general, token holdings, you can just see what people are accumulating over the past day, 7 days, 30 days, and number of addresses as well. And these are all smart money addresses. So I think it's quite obvious that everyone is stacking up in stables, USDC, and if we go down to the smart money index, you can actually see that the index has been increasing. One day it went up to 17%, but now it's about 13%. So everyone's pretty much still in stables on chain. So they are quite, we want to see this number going down as in a sense that would sort of like signal a bit where they are buying up the where it's really bottom, the market is going to bottom, and they're actually starting to buy. And yeah, I think that's something interesting you can actually just follow. And one thing we could actually do, I think, because of the sort of stETH kind of drama in Twitter, you can actually filter for stETH. So it did actually go down quite a bit, but to a surprise, the past 30 days overall, it's actually been up quite a bit. So I think it's people are accumulating when some people are actually selling, unwinding their positions because a lot of them are doing the leverage looping. So I think they are just having a bet that if they buy this at a discount of maybe 4 to 7%, then they are able to hold it and post merge, get it one-to-one with Ethereum. So I think a lot of people are doubling down on that as well. And you can see like many addressers are actually doing that. And I think from here, if we go to token god mode, you can actually just preview a bit of what stETH, especially if you have a position in this as well. So transactions, yeah, you can see that. Okay, it's loading. The price obviously has been going down, and you see the volumes when it spiked. The prices. These are probably the periods where stETH is trading at a discount to Ethereum as well. So later I'll show you another dashboard to show you the sort of the pack over there. But during these times, I think it fell down by to 4 to even 7%, and that's where people started buying up as well. And like I mentioned before, for the smart money, if you see the token distribution, you can see that actually number of especially in May when it actually peaked, had about 90 plus wallets holding and about 160,000 ETH, and it really fell down after that. And this is where the sort of like the deep hack happened, and over in June where a lot of people were selling as well. But you can see that actually recovered, and now there's actually more smart money people wallets actually holding this stETH. And although the volume has been falling off a bit, but actually much higher than it was previously. But yeah, I think a lot of them just holding, like I said, just praying and hoping that post merge you'll trade at 1:1. And yeah, I think if we go further down in terms of unique addresses, so this includes all addresses might not be smart money as well. You can see that it's actually gradually going up, so a lot of people are following this bet as well. And in token distribution, 90 to 365 days, so actually a lot of people, about 57% of the tokens are actually held for actually more than 3 months at least. So people are actually still holding on to their bags that they put in quite a while ago. And I think this gives quite a good, like a lot of hope for people who are actually back holding it to post merge and hoping that it recovers as well. And I think another thing that we could go through is the Lido dashboard to actually monitor sort of your positions as well. Like I mentioned, in May, volume picked up, and that was the first sort of drop in price of 0.98, and then further drop after all the things that happened on Twitter in June, and now you even traded at 0.93 as well, so a 7% discount. And this is where volume picked up, people start buying and holding it for longer periods of time to earn just a 7% in sort of like the arbitrage kind of situation. So yeah, I think many smart money over here, they're sort of like unwinding their leverage positions, because I think if you know how it works, a lot of people are putting on Lido, then using their stETH to on Aave to get a leverage position, and then doing the loop over and over. So a lot of people are unwinding their positions because of the current market situation as well. And yeah, I think there are a lot of people who are also taking advantage of the current situation to buy at a discount as well. And yeah, I think can see largest staking transactions. There are some familiar names here as well. So you could just sort of monitor and set maybe some smart alerts on people who has the biggest stake here, and to see whether any of them are unstaking, or any big actions they are unwinding their positions, for example, and or adding more collateral. So you can actually just set smart alerts on certain smart money depositors over here and staking depositors to just protect yourself in case of any positions that you have here as well. Yeah, I think that's about it for the Lido and stETH section. And yeah, actually wanted to ask Darren about more about because I think he's working in the smart money department. Wanted to ask you more about how you tech smart money. What's your methodology behind all this smart money as well?
Yeah, well, that's a tough question. Yeah, I mean, I'm a part of the Smart Money team, and I think that there are two things, right? Whoops. Yeah, that's scary. Yeah, there are two things. One is on-chain behavior, one is off-chain behavior. So, I mean, I'll touch on on-chain behavior first. So, AirDrop Pro is a great example of how an address is smart based on on-chain behavior. Smarter LP, smarter LP is I'm going to give the one-liner, right? It's you get like 100K profit by providing liquidity after accounting for impermanent loss. Is also another example of smart on-chain behavior. So I think that's like the more automated aspects, and we have a lot of different tips and tricks. Obviously, I can't say much. If not, I'm probably going to be like on the streets tomorrow. But yeah, we use like a mix of some machine learning methods, some heuristics, etc., to suss out or find out all this on-chain smart behavior, and then to say, hey, this address is likely smart. So that's for on-chain, right? And off-chain is mainly funds right now. So I mean, right now we're also having some discussion because I think certain events in the past few months have shown that not all funds might be very smart. But that's a topic for another day, right? Right now we just assume that all funds are smart. So how we tag funds, we have a lot of ways. I think Alberto is actually he has some good ideas on how to tag funds as well. But we use like a mix of methods ranging from wallet interactions, graphs, graph network, stuff like that. We combine all this information together, and then we make a very educated guess, or rather, if you can confirm using certain data points on whether an address is fun or not. So I think off-chain, on-chain, a mix of automated and manual stuff, all of this combined together in a very messy, very painful melting pot. But then that's how we produce smart money. Yeah.
Can I ask? I always get questions. You probably know what I'm going to ask. So I get people that say, "Oh, like, is free AC smart money anymore?" So obviously you won't be able to answer that. But how often do we kind of look at smart money labels, and like how often are they updated to maybe take them off or to maybe add them?
Right. So for, let's say, on-chain labels, there is a like a sort of rotation / transition, right? Because let's say we talk about smart NFT minters, we're looking at if I remember correctly, I think it's smart NFT traders, right? We are ranking every single address in existence by their profit, and then obviously if you are top 50 today, you might be top 500 tomorrow if you're holding certain NFTs, right? So depending on how you trade and flip, you might get squeezed out of the leaderboard. And then we have a grace period and a few other checks, like coding tests and stuff like that to determine whether this address should be in and out. But we do rotate the labels. So that's for on-chain behavior, right? But off-chain behavior, right now we make an association. So I'll use an analogy. If you can swim very well and you can run very well, I would assume that you can maybe rock climb very fast. Okay, that's not a very good analogy, but that's the sort of thought process we have, right, for funds. So basically, if you're a fund, you likely have access to more information. You likely have a team of, hopefully you have a team of analysts working hard, sourcing for deals or looking on chain and stuff like that. So given all these like reasons, all these data points, we make a or rather we lean towards the side that believes that all funds are smart. Although we're always open to like product suggestions and stuff like that, so feel free to drop them in the chat if you have any thoughts on this whole smart money methodology thing. Yeah.
Before we kind of look at, I know we've got a lot of things actually we can look at, but let's just look at the chat. So I did get some questions. I'm guessing they're saying a joke anyway. And they say, Daniel, can you show the doggos? Is that an NFT collection or something?
No, not really, because I think some of them know that I have 3 Shibas, so but they're not upstairs, they're downstairs actually.
Oh, in real life, is it? Okay,
Yeah.
very nice. So what else have we got? Someone did ask actually earlier, is it possible to find which treasury? Oh, actually, it's quite a good question. Is it possible to find which project treasuries are being managed or were being managed by Three Arrows Capital? I don't know if we can answer that. We do have, hopefully I'm not leaking it, we're going to be working on like a report on all of these kind of events that have come up. Hopefully, yeah, doesn't look like I'm leaking it from your faces. But yeah, we should be putting a report out, like kind of analyzing these things. So hopefully you'll get some answers from that. I think that should be soonish. What else have we got? Some weird comments. Yeah, I think that's basically it. Yeah, let's have a look at, we can either look at RSR, maybe if you want to do that, Daniel, or maybe I think we could switch it up a bit and have a look at Doodles. So we just have a bit of NFTs to have some crypto relief. Yeah. Darren, are you happy to do that? Because your screen's already on. And then I can talk through it or whatever.
I think I'll just hand it to you. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, 1 second then. Need to share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen? Yes? No?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Okay, nice. Okay, let's have a look at Doodles, because I am very jealous. I love Doodles. I am too poor, or at least not willing to put up 15 grand or whatever it is now for a Doodle. So yeah, yesterday, last night even, they announced that Pharrell is working as some kind of advisor, or even maybe more than that. I can't remember the actual title. And then they also announced, what was it? A funding round from the old Reddit co-founder. So yeah, they've had a very good day. I think this was part of NFT NYC. Very exciting. Their CEO now, I think his CEO is the old president of Billboard. So obviously it looks like he's connecting Doodles with music. I think it's a really cool use case for NFTs. I think they also announced Doodles 2 or something like that, where you'll be able to like sell traits and stuff like that. I'm not entirely sure. I actually have never been a fan of being able to change NFT traits because I am a bit skeptical on the kind of depreciation that might cause, because then if your NFT traits aren't fixed, then how does it make it unique? I'm not entirely sure, but let's see like what they get up to with that. So yeah, we can see straight away 24-hour max price is already up as well. I'm guessing someone bought like a good one of one or one of the rare ones. Floor price is up almost 10%, and is also up, oh yeah, 8 ETH. How long ago was that? Just over, so 9 days ago. So it's doubled in price in the last 9 days. And then if you accompany that with Ethereum also going up, you've done a pretty nice trade for whoever's bought there. If they sold now, they might think it's going up further. Who knows? And then, yeah, 24-hour volume is up 5x, 5.2x, which is kind of crazy. Have we got any smart money buyers? Not too many, actually. Got one here. On the 14th, so they bought the dip rather than buying the news. Yeah, but a big batch of transactions yesterday, as we can see, as we can also see here with this lift. A lot of transactions on May 1st. I don't know what happened there. Might have been duplicators. Kind of interesting. Yeah, if we look at anything else, one day change, this person's bought 22 of them. Which is kind of crazy. Mr. Ape, I know from kind of tracking him before, is very wealthy, I think. Has a lot of other stuff. And I think one thing I thought was interesting, I don't want to dunk on him, but I'll talk about it briefly. I was kind of tracking Alex Ohanian's wallet, actually, over the last couple of days, just by coincidence. And he's the one who invested money into Doodles as part of the investment round. And he was selling a lot of NFTs over the last week, like a lot, and some high value ones like a Bored Ape. So that's kind of interesting. I don't know why he was doing that. Might be using the ETH, because then I checked and he sent the ETH straight to Coinbase. So it looks like he was selling it. Maybe using that money for the fund. Who knows? But he's a billionaire, so that's also a bit questionable. I'm not really sure. Yeah. So I think that's pretty much it for Doodles. So quick run through. do we want to pass over Daniel? Do you want to look at RSR? Because I am quite interested in that.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I could share my screen. Let me know when you see it? Yeah. Okay. So RSR. So I think based on what we know, we find out is that they actually are linear unlocking about 5% of their total supply over June, and a further 10% of their total supply going to be unlocked over the next 3 months as well. So I think people who are holding this token are looking for opportunities if they believe that these investors will sort of like dump it at this market as well. What they can do as usual is to go to token god mode to actually try to find out sort of like the um, where the sort of like their safe is and where they're going to use it for disbursement. So I think there are actually quite a few. So when I was actually looking at it, the main one is this slow wallet, reserve wallet. So this is where they actually use for disbursement. But there's also many multi-sig wallets that they use to sort of like distribute as well. And I think there are, if I can remember correctly, there are about over 30 multi-sig wallets. So I think what's best is that you can go through one by one, try to find all the multi-sig wallets and take all the addresses. And what I would do is, I take these addresses and all together and go to sort of like my smart alerts, create alert, say RSR unlocks, and Ethereum or
Has
copy all
Daniel
the
run?
addresses.
I know you're
Sorry?
back.
Correct.
You almost
Oh,
got
I'm
run.
back.
Yeah,
I
you're
see.
back.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So RSR unlocks, what I would do is, just simple transaction token transfers. I'll put all the different, addresses here. So there are about 30 over addresses. So it will like take some time, but you can just put all, and then, you want to see specific to funds, to investors, or you can just put as all transactions. Then you just set an alert on Telegram, Discord, Slack, whatever. Then you can get actually a sense of when they are going to unlock. So I think something shocking is that we believe that it was going to unlock in the past a month as well, linearly in June, but nothing has happened so far. You can see there's no change. So maybe there's a delay or something is going on. So, but most importantly is what you should just get all these wallets, put it in a smart alert, and make sure you're on top of any transactions and any activity in this sort of like RSR disbursement. So I think that's what I would do. And if you're feeling adventurous, you find that these funds who invested in them were sort of like down in the market, you can actually sort of like short the market as well to earn a bit of money if they actually dump the tokens on exchange as well. And yeah, I think one interesting question to ask you guys as well. When a fund or when a private investor sends money, to or any tokens to a centralized exchange, do you all guys take it as instant dump, or are there any other reasons for them to do so as well?
Go on, Darren. I know you have a good answer for this one.
Yeah, no, actually, because I got this question a lot, and I realized it's very simple, but I'm still going to explain it. So, pardon me, if you really know what I'm talking about. So, I think when a fund gets like privacy tokens, right, there are basically two things they can do. They can either sell it or not sell it, right? I mean, when I say not sell it, I mean stake it, provide LP, whatever. It's either sell or not sell. So logically speaking, if they don't sell, it will make sense that you hold it in the wallet that received it as a sign of good faith to the team, right? You obviously want to flex to the team, hey, I'm diamond handing your tokens. You can see it on chain, like no fear, right? And that means that if they send it to the centralized exchange, it's almost guaranteed that they're selling the tokens because there is no other reason the fund will send it to a centralized exchange. Because someone will say like, hey, what if they're sending it to a centralized exchange so that they can wash the tokens, or like hide the tracks? Then the question is, why would they want to hide the tracks? Because if you go back to the original premise, the whole point of them, if they don't sell, it is a sign of, it's a flex to the team. So if they want to hide the tracks, the fact that you have something to hide is a signal in itself. Yeah, I think that's something that I thought a lot about, and it applies to other things also. But maybe we'll cover that in the next office hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we came into this episode with like tons of content, actually, not really enough time. Hopefully, maybe we can do another one with us three. I wanted to look at the comments because they've been making me laugh. It says, if DK has, it's one of these copy faster ones. If DK has millions of fans, I'm one of them. If they have 10, I'm one of them. If the world is against DK, I'm against the world. And I thought, what's that about? Is it DeFi Kingdoms? It's about you, Daniel. You've got a big fan in the chat.
I think they're all just trying to make me laugh.
Yeah, someone said, why do Nansen people type haha, but they don't laugh? I was laughing, but on mute. So yeah, that's irrelevant, but nice to see people in the chat. Yeah, hopefully you really enjoyed this episode. I enjoyed it. Sorry I didn't share my screen for some parts. Had like hidden alpha by accident. Yeah, I think hopefully you learned something as well. Hopefully we kind of taught you some ways to use Nansen. I definitely learned some things from both of you. So yeah, thank you so much for joining. We've gone overtime slightly, but yeah, that's a wrap for today. Hope you've enjoyed. If you did, give it a thumbs up, share it with anyone and everyone. Remember to subscribe, turn your notifications on, sign up to Nansen Lite if you want to try out our amazing platform for free. And also, if you want to try out Nansen Connect, you've got one of the NFTs that I read out at the start. You don't want to hear me read out that whole list again. But yeah, you can always just check on our website or on our Twitter if you're eligible. If you're not eligible as an NFT collection, just drop us a DM and we can see if we can get you added, because we want to kind of expand it as much as possible. It just takes a bit of time. We want everyone to have a good experience of it. Journey says, please come back, both of you. Yeah, I'm sure that they probably will. Daniel's been on before, actually, so this is his second one. Yeah, thank you so much, both of you, for coming. Thank you for everyone that listened. Hopefully you'll be back next week. And yes, have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Bye.